All right, this tutorial we are going to cover changing eye color. Changing eye color. Now we have a beautiful model here with some beautiful brown eyes. You almost hate to change them, but when you look at this image, you see with the blue scarf around her and the blue wall behind her, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if those eyes were blue? I think it probably would be. Now, it's harder to change brown eyes than it is to change green or so, because you can just slightly adjust the hue on those eyes. But changing brown's a little more difficult, and I'm going to show a really good way to go ahead and do that. The very first step in this process, what we're going to do is come up to the Marquee tool up here. It usually sits on a rectangle like this. What I'm going to do is click on it. We're going to go to the Elliptical Marquee tool. Now, I want to zoom in on her eyes here just so we can see a little more clearly what we're doing. But what I'm going to do here with the Elliptical Marquee tool, I'm going to go ahead and select the iris of her eyes, the colored area of her eyes. Now, the way you do that, you do not have to be precise. All you have to do is make sure you grab right around there, select that, then you hit Shift to keep that other selection there while you draw around this eye. You go ahead and make your selection here, and again, you don't have to be exact, but you want to get fairly close. Now I've selected around here, I've got an extra area, and you'll see why I'm doing that in just a moment. It's really not any kind of a problem. What I want to do to make sure that these selections are very smooth, I'm going to come up to the selection option at the top, come down to Modify, and Feather. You can also hit Shift F6. The same thing will come up. Now, I'm working with a fairly small image, so I don't need a really large number. I'm going to go with, say, 8. But with larger images, your number will have to be larger. I'm using a web-sized image here that we're editing on. Click OK, and all that does is smooth out the selection just to make sure that there are no harsh edges within the selection. Now, after I have gone ahead and feathered my selection, I'm going to come down here in the Layers panel. Now, in the Layers panel, what you might need to do to make sure if the Layers panel is not showing, come up to Window, click, and make sure that there's a check mark next to Layers, or just hit F7. So in this box right here, what I'm going to do is come down to this little symbol at the bottom here, click it, and I'm going to create a black and white adjustment layer. Now already look at what I've done to her eyes. What we did is we completely desaturated them. We turned that area of the image into black and white. Now to further work with this, what we're going to do is come up to this little preset option box here, and I'm going to go to green filter on that. It lightened it up even more. They're even looking better now. They're even looking better. So that's what I've done to this point. We have interesting looking, but they're not blue. They're still gray. They're colorless. We definitely want some color in that. So what I'm going to do is come back down here. Now I want to make sure in the layer box the correct layer is selected, but I want to make sure that I've actually selected the layer mask within the black and white layer, and that's this right here. So I've selected that. Now, what I want to do at this point, after I have done that, is I want to go with a black brush. You want to make sure that you're using a black brush. And I'm going to paint outside of her eyes. I'm going to paint right around the edges of her eyes and make sure all this is doing is it's erasing the part. Remember that selection, how it wasn't exact? I'm making it exact now by erasing right around the edges of her eye. This is removing the affected area other than, the part that we don't, we want to make sure it doesn't change colors. We don't want the skin around her eyes changing colors. So I've gone ahead and erased right around there. You can't see it right now, but that's what we have just done. Just paint right around the edges of her iris. And we have now made sure that we're just working with the proper area of her eyes. After that, we're going to come back down here in the Layers panel. We're going to click once again right down here on this, and now this time we're going to create a solid color adjustment layer. I'm going to click on it. Now I wanted blue, I told you. I want the eyes to be blue, so I'm going to select in here in the blue area. Now I want light blue eyes. I want them to be fairly light. So I'm going to select right around I want them to be realistic. I'm going to select right around here for right now. I click OK. Again, they don't have to be exact, but that's the color about there that I'm going to work with. And I'll come back and adjust it a little bit later. Now, what you have to do at this point is back over in the layer panel. What you have to do, right click next to this adjustment layer. You right click, and what you're going to do is come up to create clipping mask. And when you do that, what it does is it applies it to the area you were dealing with previously. Right there. That's the area we were dealing with previously. She's looking a little scary right now. So we've got the blue in the correct area, but we need to make it fit with her eyes. We need to make it blend properly. Right over here, this little dialog box in your layer box, in your layer panel, this is your blending, the different blending options, blending modes that you have. And what you're going to do is you're going to come down here and choose color. And look at what we just did. Look at her eyes. They look fantastic. Now, I want to be able to adjust it a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is come back down one more time at the bottom here. I'm going to click on this, and I want to select a curves adjustment layer, and make sure, once again, that you right-click and do create clipping mask, so you're only working with the area of the eyes that you've selected. That's what that means that you're doing. And then you can adjust her eye color right here. You can adjust it and do some different things with it right here. You can make it lighter, you can make it darker. You can do different things and make it as natural as you would like. And what we've then done is, let me show you the full image. Let me zoom back out. Let me show you what her eyes look like. And there are further adjustments you can make. And let me show you a good before and after with the brown eyes next to her blue eyes. And while her brown eyes look fantastic, I think the blue look better with the picture. I really do, with the blonde hair and the blue scarf and the blue wall behind her. And that is a great way to change brown eyes to any color that you want. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please make any comments below, ask any questions below, and we'll try to get back to you, or email us at info@fstop.club. And please subscribe to our channel. I look forward to sharing another tutorial with you on better ways to work with Photoshop.